Hey makeup friends, I am filming this the day after the events at the Capitol in the US, and I'm still reeling from it. I'm not even American, but I'm still reeling from it. So as a reminder to myself and as a reminder to you guys, I am wearing my Be a Decent Human Being shirt because I think we all need that reminder. That is all I'm going to say about that. I have been more vocal about this over on Instagram and certainly on Twitter, but this channel is for positivity. This channel is for escapism. It's for fun. It's focused on the makeup. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the makeup today, and the makeup in question is the new powder foundation from Fenty. So let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, then hello, my name is Kara. I'm a 40-year-old working mother of 2. For the purposes of today's video, I'm going to give you a little bit of information on my skin. I have normal leaning towards dry skin. It is basically at the driest it's going to be at this time of year. We've got our furnace going 24/7. My body skin, like the skin on my legs, my stomach, it's ripped to shreds because I am so damned dry and so itchy that I just scratch until I bleed. It's terrible. There is not enough skin cream out there to combat the level of itchiness that I have. Thankfully, my face doesn't get quite as dry as the rest of my body, but it is certainly drier at this time of year than it is at any other time. So I want to see how this foundation performs on 40-year-old skin that is prone to dryness at this time of year. But before I put it on, I want to read you some information from the Sephora website about it. So it retails for $47 Canadian, and for that you're getting 9.1 grams of product, and it comes in 50 different shades. That's what it looks like in the pan. When you bring it back, and there is a mirror, when you bring it back, it lifts right up, flips over, and then there's like a little spongy doohickey in there. I appreciate that even though it has that moving component in it, it's not super bulky. I mean, granted, it's thicker than some of their other packaging, say their cream blush, but it's not like Physicians Formula level chunky. You know what I mean? They tend to have like the doming and all of that. It's completely unnecessary. I think it's fairly minimalist for what is encased inside, and I'm cool with that. Okay, getting back to the actual product, I'm just going to read what it claims. It says that it's a light as air powder foundation that gives you light to full coverage with a soft matte finish. It does say that the coverage is medium, although it claims to have light to full, so we'll see. Matte finish, pressed powder. It is free of parabens and phthalates. It's also vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. It claims to deliver a non-cakey blurred finish with no flashback. Flashback is not an issue in my life. Yes, I do take a lot of pictures, but I don't use flash, and I am not living the kind of life where people are going to be taking pictures of me as soon as I leave my home. So flashback is never really an issue for me. It says the buildable light to full coverage formula loves to be layered without settling into fine lines or clogging the look of pores. It's also sweat, humidity, and crease resistant, plus it has a chic, portable, compact. I will say, when it comes to powder foundations, I do tend to gravitate to them more in fall, winter than I do in spring, summer. I live in fear of sweating and having like telltale little rivulets running down my face. That's not the look I'm going for. So the fact that it says it's sweat and humidity resistant is pretty interesting. Unless I literally run around my house though, I'm not going to be able to test that one out at this time of year because it's minus 14 degrees Celsius outside today, which is very cold. So let's get into the product. Now, when I use powder foundations, I tend to use a more luminizing primer underneath them. And so today I'm going to use the one from Rare Beauty. This is the Illuminating Primer. That's just all it's called. So this one doesn't bring a lot of shine to the face, but it does help to brighten things up. So I'm just going to dot that on and we will see the difference. I will try very hard to remember to just do half of my face first so that we can really see the before and after. But there is the difference in my skin. You can see it is a little bit glowier. It's not necessarily wet. There's a tiny bit of tackiness to it. I'm going to let it dry down for just a moment, but we're just going to do this side first. And then I'm going to use this brush here from Sigma. This is the F80 Flat Kabuki. I like this one mainly because it's flat, so it gets right into the pan of powder really easily. I don't have to worry about slants or anything like that. And because it's also really like densely packed, I find that it picks up powder really nicely and then also deposits and blends it really nicely as well. Okay, so even just in that like, what, 1 minute that I've had this on, it has dried down. There is no stickiness left to my skin. So let's go into the powder. There is no scent to it at all. So that's nice. With respect to the little sponge, conceivably you could use this, but I would use this more for just like touching up if I was going to. I don't tend to, but this I'm not going to get much use out of. I just find that those little things are a little bit flimsy. They get super dirty. I can't really clean them, and it just takes forever to do my face, and I am not about that. Just going to go ahead and pick some of that up on the brush. I'm just going to sort of pat it into place at first, and then I will go in and blend it. I suppose I should have told you, I am in MAC shades. I'm an NC20, and the shade that I picked up is 210, and it is described, let me find it on the website. There are 50 shades for me to sort through here. 210 is described for light to medium skin with warm, neutral undertones. Kind of covers the range there, doesn't it? Okay. This is about as much as I would apply on a normal day-to-day basis. So let's just leave it at that for now. Let's just take a look. Let me bump it in a little bit. There we go. So you can see it does have a matte finish, but I don't find it to be like a harsh matte. Like it's not mask-like on my face. There is still a little bit of illumination peeking through from the primer, but it does give, excuse me, a little bit of coverage for sure. I am going to try to build it up even more. I don't have a lot of discoloration or a lot of like problem areas that I'm trying to conceal in terms of my face. Under eyes, totally different situation. We got a product we're going to deal with that. But I do have like a few little like beauty marks or whatever, little freckles, things like that. I can still definitely see those peeking through the foundation. That's totally fine with me. I can see the blue of the vein that I have over here. Again, that's fine with me. But let's try to build it up a little bit just to see what the effect on the skin is, simply because they make the claim that it can be built up to full coverage. So let's try to pack it on a little bit. Bearing in mind, I'm trying to balance testing the claim that it can be built up to full coverage against doing an actual wear test of how I would actually apply this. So I'm trying to find that balance, because building it up to the point of cakiness is not how I would wear it. So I don't want to skew the overall results for the sake of this little experiment. But all right, that's about as much as I'm willing to build it up. I can still see those little marks here. The blue is now covered up in that little vein that I have over here. If I look really hard, because I know where it is, I can see it, but it doesn't stand out nearly as much as it did. I'm gonna get super up close and personal here. Let's get you guys as close as possible as well. Let's see. I do have a few little dry patches under my nose that just drive me crazy. They show up in winter and I can't really do much about them, but other than that, like, it's not clinging to my skin in any sort of weird way. I do have slightly less than fine lines going on up in my forehead at this point. Let's get the hair out of the way. Oh crap, I just ran it through the primer on the back of my hand. Whoops. It's not like sticking to the peach fuzz on my face or anything of that sort. So I like the way that it applies. I'm not super wild on how it looks on my nose, to be honest. Oh God, who designed magnifying mirrors? Like, who thought that was a great idea? Here, let's look at all of your imperfections. So looking at it up close, I like the way it applies like through the majority of my skin. I don't see it sitting on the surface of the skin, so it's not like cakey at all. On my nose, it looks a little bit patchy. I'm not gonna lie on that one. Let's do the super up close thing. I'm gonna turn my lights right down. In fact, let's see. Nope, that's too dark. Okay, and I've turned, okay. Hi, we're super close. Turn my lights down as low as they will go, just so that you can see sort of what I'm talking about, hopefully. It doesn't like sit on the surface of the skin, so I really like that. But on my nose, I don't know if you can see, it's just a little bit patchy in and around this area here. And then of course I've got the dry spots on the tip of my nose. But like up here, and there's those beautiful lines. I have earned every single one of them, let me tell you. But it's like it applies nice and evenly. I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. Let's back it up. All right, I'm happy with that. And the thing is, like, you look in a magnified mirror and you're like, oh God, pores. You know what I mean? But like, back it up by a foot, nobody's gonna notice. So even from this distance, like if I'm looking at my mirror from this distance, I don't see any issues with the nose. So I'm really not that upset about it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this side of my face, and then we'll wrap it up for now, and then I'll come back later today and give you the update and my thoughts on how it wore throughout the day. And I am back. So you will see this makeup, the shirt, the hair, the earrings in 2 other videos, but life of a part-time YouTuber, I don't really have the luxury of taking off all of my makeup, putting it all on again, all that kind of thing. And besides, I didn't want to mess up the base because this is a wear test. It has been 10 hours since I first applied my makeup, so I think that gives us a really good indicator of how it's going to wear. I'm going to turn the lights down, bump it in closer, and I've got my horrifying magnifying mirror beside me so we can do a really close-up look. Here we go. The viewfinder typically lies to me, so I am going to look down at my mirror. From this distance, where my mirror is about a foot away from me, really have nothing to complain about. I don't see any big glaring patches of anything. I don't see a ton of cakiness. I don't really see any problems. I can see that it has worn away from my nose on both sides and around this area as well. That frankly does not surprise me because I do blow my nose from time to time, and it's not a farmer's blow. I use a Kleenex, and so makeup tends to wipe away there. Same with around my mouth, because as I eat, I wipe my mouth and, you know, things wear off. But from here, forehead is looking good, cheeks, everything's looking fine, even under the eyes. I can see, obviously, my like fine-ish lines going on here, but nothing too atrocious from this distance. So now let's flip the mirror over. I'm going to lean in closer so that you can get a better sense of what's really going on as well. So I see a little bit of separation here and a little bit up here as well, but nothing too terrible. I can see that it's a little bit more concentrated just in this area. That is very typical, and my foundation does tend to gather a little bit more over in this area, and that has happened again with this one. The nose does not look great. The nose didn't look great upon initial application, has not improved. It does look very splotchy. Again, from a distance, like a normal distance, can't really see it. When I'm magnified and like right up in my grill, yeah, I can see it, but if anybody's standing that close to me, we're gonna have a problem. So there you have it, I guess. I don't really know like what words of wisdom I can impart on you. I think it holds up really nicely. I really do. It hasn't made my skin feel dry. It is very lightweight. I don't have that feeling of like, just get it off of my face, which sometimes after 10 hours of wear, you can feel the makeup on your skin, and I don't feel it at all. It's super lightweight. It hasn't transferred off onto anything. It's doing good. I'm a fan of it. I like it. I really do. I think it has a good amount of coverage. The ease of application is there. The wear time is there. I don't expect after 10 hours that any foundation is going to look completely flawless. So the fact that there is some separation across my forehead, which happens with basically any foundation that I wear, the fact that it has rubbed away from my mouth and my nose, those kind of things to me are to be expected. Unless I just like sit like this all day and do not touch or eat or drink or sneeze or do anything, which is not a realistic way of living. So overall, with the Fenty foundation, I am very happy with this. Again, I am a bit drier at this time of year, but my skin doesn't feel itchy. It doesn't feel dry having worn this all day. It feels every bit as good as it did at the beginning of the day. So Fenty, I am impressed. There we have it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.